So I've got 11:01. I think we can just get started. I have John Wingfield on. You want to introduce yourself, John? You're on mute.
There we go. I'm our small to mid-sized business lender for St. Joe County, primarily South Bend. I do a lot of work downtown South Bend. Very committed to the community, especially small business. So I'm very happy to answer any questions and help anybody that I can with our products and the PPP program.
The other thing I'll add to John's comment, and I'm not sure who's all on right now, but I think everybody realizes that the Paycheck Protection Program, PPP, and the EIDL program, the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program, has come to a halt. It's now gone through its complete funding process, and hopefully Congress will extend it and expand it. We've been extremely busy taking thousands of Paycheck Protection Program loan requests and trying to get them through the process. Unfortunately, with the volume, some companies actually didn't meet the deadline, and I think all banks or other financial institutions that are offering it have gone through the same experience, unfortunately. But for those that have, we're now in the process, after going through the approval process, funding these actual loans that'll take place probably over the next week to 10 days. So more on that, and we're willing to take any questions on the Paycheck Protection Program as well. So with that, I see we have got a few people in the room. John and I are willing to take any questions, and then we'll mute if we're not speaking, and unmute yourself if you are speaking.
So do we have any small business owners in the group right now? Has anybody applied for a PPP loan?
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Tim, we can hear you.
Oh, great. Thank you very much for the information you're providing. Are we allowed to apply through more than one bank? It says we're not, or I've seen that we're not allowed to apply through more than one bank, but then the definition of what an actual application is has been unclear to me. How do I know whether I've got a place in line somewhere or not?
So are you talking about the PPP loan?
Yes, I am.
So there is a requirement. You can only apply through one bank, or at least it'll only be approved by one bank. Most banks have a requirement that they want you to be a current client to apply. And that kind of helps with risk and ensuring that the funds are going to the right account and the right person. So I would recommend that you reach out to your local bank and ask them if they are doing PPP loans, or I guess when hopefully when the programs gets funded again. But as of right now, unfortunately, it's out of money and they're not taking any more applications for PPP loans. But I would recommend that you do get a place in line at your local bank for if they do fund it again, at least you can get your application in and get moving sooner than later.
It's been very difficult to reach my bank. After I made what might have, I had a line of credit and they froze access to funds. And I've also read that they've laid off a large number of people. And I've lost confidence in their ability to follow through with this. But I guess that's my own unique situation. I don't think that's much general interest. We'll probably look for someone if they don't begin communicating early next week. But in the meantime, if I just want access to credit because I need money to do things, is there any other, besides the PPP, that I could look at?
So currently through the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, There's a website, it's savesmallbusiness.com, that you can qualify for a $5,000 grant for if you're a small business in an infected area, which is Indiana is considered a impacted area by coronavirus. So you should be able to apply directly on that website for the $5,000 grant.
Well, yeah. My question is, like, I just need to operate my business. I invest in real estate and manage rental homes, and I need for it to work well. I need an operating line of credit. Are there banks that would? I mean, I'm not looking for a grant. My bank. I have two banks that I've worked with that are just completely frozen. Is there anywhere where that I could go and expect somebody to say, "Oh yes, we're taking lines of, we could help you with a line of credit"?
So we have not stopped lending at all throughout this entire process. So we want to ensure that if you're a viable business and you need access to a line of credit to keep your business going, but not necessarily to fill the gap of loss of revenue due to COVID, but more of looking at your historical financials. If you're a business that qualifies for a line of credit, then we'd be more than happy to take a look at that and see if we can do business together. So I'd be more than happy to share my information with you. And if you have a request for a loan, I could certainly take a look at your business and the project.
Okay, that sounds excellent. So I guess your contact information would be on a link or the worksheet here.
I believe so. Is it, Len?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look at the actual sheet. Why don't you just verbalize your email address, John?
Is there a chat right now for this? Let's see.
Yeah, there's a chat, it's third from the left, third from the right on the bar at the bottom. There's the red phone, two people, and then chat.
It doesn't look like there's a chat for this session, but oh, here we go.
I just chatted. Well, thank you very much. I got that, John.
Good, yeah.
Okay, can I jump in? My name is John, also John. Would you repeat that information about that small business that has designated in Indiana as an impact zone where they're giving out grants?
Yeah, I'll put the link in the chat.
And what's the name of the outfit?
Well, it's through the U.S. Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
And it's savesmallbusiness.com.
Oh, okay, cool. Thank you.
Sure.
So any other questions out there? We can obviously continue to sit tight and see if individuals pop in and out. But if there's any general questions on what's going on in the marketplace, we're willing to dialogue about that as well.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. How are you today?
Positive.
Great. Hey, listen. We are a small business that deals with transportation, and we have been talking about getting things up and going for about a year now, and we finally have been able to locate our broker's license, and we are all set to go. We just need some capital to get some things organized. Are you guys available to do that?
I'd be more than happy to look at the request. Send me your contact information. I put my email in the chat. More than happy to help any small business right now. And again, we're an SBA preferred lender. So if you're a newer business, SBA is certainly the route to go. So I'd be more than happy to chat with you about your business and what you need.
Okay. Can you just say your email for me? I know you're at Centier. That way I can't access the link to write down or to have your emails? Can you just say that to me real fast?
Sure. It's JWINGFIE@Centier.com.
Great. Thank you so much. We'll definitely be in contact. You know, we hear that there are a lot of new things happening in the trucking business, and that's where we are. And so we know there's going to be a shortage coming up. We just want to position ourselves to be ready to take advantage of that shortage when we are reopened in terms of the country.
And what kind of trucking is it?
Expedited service.
I'm sorry?
Expedited services. That's emergency point, pretty much. Critical point.
I didn't quite catch that. It sounded like you were going in and out with.
It's an expedited service, Angels Wings Expedited LLC.
Okay. So you already have trucks?
Yes, we started January, the first of the year. January 2nd, we launched the business.
Okay, great. I know the trucking business fairly well, so I'd love to speak with you about it.
Okay, another question. Being that we're a new starter, are we in a position for the PPP program?
Yeah, so, well, if they reinstate funds for the PPP
Right.
program, for newer businesses, you can qualify. We just look at the months that you have been in business, and then we take that average payroll from those months. So if it's 3 months, we just divide it total payroll by 3 to get your average monthly payroll.
Thank you.
Sure.
And would you be in contention, I guess, for resources for equipment as far as other trucks that could expand our business?
Yeah, absolutely. We do vehicle loans, equipment loans. What we like to do is get an idea of the full scope of your need and what the future of the business is going to look like. And we kind of help go from there as to what type of loan request you have.
Okay, great. So what is your experience in trucking? You mentioned that you had that experience in your background.
Well, I don't have any experience personally, but I have customers that are in the trucking business.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, and we also have clients that are large clients that have a trucking aspect to the business. So we stay fairly knowledgeable as far as local trucking needs.
Mm. Given that we are a relatively new startup, do you have any programs through your organization that we might have conversations with more experienced trucking businesses?
Possibly. I mean, we can certainly discuss that.
I mean, I'll jump in here, John. We don't have any specific programs, but we, as John mentioned, we have a fair amount of resources. In fact, there are services that we subscribe to that we can gather data on various industries, and we might be able to share that with you. But with our existing customer base, we can certainly put you in touch with them if we get their approval, and we'd be glad to help wherever we can.
Okay, of course, great, thank you.
So my division in city government, we work with a lot of like low income or businesses in low income areas of the city, and I was wondering if there's anything in the in these loan programs about like equitable distribution, either for low income or minority owned businesses.
I'm not sure what you mean about equitable distribution.
Like anything like giving priority to like low income businesses or something
Sure.
like that.
So I briefly spoke about it at the beginning of this full session. Centier does have a program that's called the Small Business Neighborhood Loan Program. And we've set aside $5 million and a maturity date of June 30th, where we'd like to target small businesses in low to moderate tracks that may need funding. And that's what this program is for. It's set up in a way where our payments are deferred for a period of time. It's a low interest rate. It's really there to help these small businesses thrive and in these low to moderate tracks. And they're from loans ranging from, say, $10,000 to $500,000. But again, we've designated $5 million for our entire market footprint, and designated for this program.
Okay. And sorry, what was the numbers again? $10,000 to
$10,000 to $500,000.
Okay, great. Thank you.
How's it going, Fonnie?
John, it's funny. How you doing there, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, man. Good. Good to see you.
Yeah, very good to hear you.
Yeah. Hey, I got a question for you.
Sure.
Are we eligible to apply for the PPP through you guys, and then also some of the stuff that you're doing for the city, or is it just like one or the other?
Yeah, you're certainly eligible. Have you not applied for PPP yet?
I was getting my application to Amanda yesterday when she called me. They told me that the funds had ran out. So I'm still going to get it to her. Hopefully they'll open back up.
Good, because we encourage anybody who hasn't applied yet to get an application in. So if it is funded again, at least you'll be ready to go. We can get it submitted right away and get the process moving for your application. As far as anything through the city, you can certainly apply for those. With the PPP, it's not you can apply for that and then not be eligible for anything else. I encourage you to apply for as many things as possible, see what you're approved for. Unfortunately, the EDIL funding is been exhausted as well. I would suggest that you apply for that $5,000 grant from the Chamber of Commerce through SaveSmallBusiness.com. And that's basically free money for small businesses that qualify, which I know your business, so I would assume you would qualify. But that's all we really have available at the moment.
Okay. So you said a smallbusiness.com. Yeah, I got that wrote down, and I got your email if I have any more questions. But I'm gonna go ahead and get that application to Amanda today, and then get on with the smallbusiness.com.
Okay. Are you guys still open?
Yes, we are.
Okay, good.
You hungry?
Good to hear. I'll have to come and grab a burger to go then.
Yeah, I asked you, were you hungry? Come on, we got burgers.
I need to get out of the house. I've been stuck in the house for way too long.
I know it. Me too. Okay, well, good talking to you. And then I'm gonna jump in and jump back out. I got a few things I want to listen to, and then I email you.
Okay, sounds good, Fonnie. Take care, buddy.
Thanks, John. All right.
Absolutely.
We've got a handful of others on the line. Any other questions while we wait?
How's it going, Kate? I see you're on.
I had to unmute myself. I'm good.
Good. Everything good at the chamber?
Disappointing.
What's that?
I said the snow was a little disappointing this morning.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
Hey, Kate, I have a question for you. John's talked a couple times about this SaveSmallBusiness.com. We were just made aware of this actually late yesterday. Are you guys aware of this as well?
I think it might be on the chamber website. I'll have to go look. I feel like I saw it. We're doing that weekly update of information, the COVID related information, and I think that it's actually on today's. I
Okay,
read it somewhere. I'm going to I made myself a note to double check on that.
right, okay. Yeah, it was just interesting because it was through, obviously, I think the Greater Chamber of Commerce
Right.
organization, but it was more or less privately funded by a lot of different organizations. So,
And it's interesting because, you know, there's the U.S. Chamber, and then there's the Association of Chamber of Commerce Executives. We have all the, like everybody else, there's all these different, the different ones that you can apply to, but the U.S. Chamber would typically be the one who would do something like that. So I made myself a note to ask Sherry about that. This newsletter is going out like about the same time that they have the Facebook Live with the city, the update today.
right.
But we're also I put that in the meeting chat that we keep updating the chamber website with resources as they come available. So it's a good place to send people. And for you guys, I mean, I'm sure you guys, you know, it's out there, but to make sure that we know it's there.
Right.
Is really good.
Well, we certainly hope this PPP program gets refunded because John and I, mainly more so John, as part of our verification team. You have to go through a verification process when a request goes through. And I haven't seen the numbers yet, John, but I mean, we probably had 200, maybe not that high, customers that applied too late, but are now waiting in line again. They just waited too long, and some are significant. They should have applied.
Yeah. I think people are overwhelmed. Like I think it's interesting. Like I'm on the board for St. Margaret's House, and they applied and they've already been approved. So they went through it, they did it, but they had the capacity to kind of be on top of it. And I just think everybody did. And I think people are just overwhelmed. Like they don't know what to do first. Right. And so I do hope that all this money flying out of the federal government's making me incredibly nervous because I'm like, somebody's going to have to pay for all that.
Gotta come somewhere.
I think that might be me. Crap. But we have to do it, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Right.
And these are just really interesting times.
Unbelievable.
We've approved 1,600 loans through the PPP program.
Seriously.
Yeah. That's over 200 a day that we were processing.
Oh my God. I saw a map, I think it was the Indy Chamber, and I was going to email one of my friends down there. They had an actual map that showed I think it was in Indianapolis or Marion County, how many had been approved, like the total dollar amount. But I don't know where that resource is that's breaking that down by county. Have you guys seen anything like that?
No.
I'm gonna rewrite myself a note because it's somewhere lost in my notebook to email I know the data person at the Indy Chamber, and this has her written all over it. So I'm like, because that would be a great map to have.
Sure.
John, did you see a final number on the dollar amount that we funded or about to fund? I want to say it's like 260, 280 million, just us.
Yeah.
That's just,
it'll be interesting to compare state to state, like which states leveraged it, what that looks like across the country.
Mm-hmm.
And hoping that the people who leveraged it aligns with the needs that it all kind of balances out.
Right.
It's because, you know, the people with the most capacity and resources were the first ones to apply. So it's hard.
Yeah. And again, being part of the verification team, we saw that, and it is interesting. You can't stop it. They want to apply, but it's
right.
Some cases we reached out to certain customers and said, you need to apply.
Yeah. And that's great. I mean, and then of course and we all know you can only do as much as you can do. If people don't fill out the paperwork, and like you can only push people so hard when they're trying to do everything else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're required to stay here if people pop on.
Maybe I'll pop into another room and see who's out there.
That's fine.
I can go back and watch all the recordings. That'll be my weekend entertainment. And okay, I do have to laugh.
Stop watching John. I mean, my God.
Okay, John, I am laughing because your fan is right above your head. So when you move your head a certain way, you look like one of those guys in the beanie with the spinner on their head. But you have a beautiful ceiling.
Thank you.
You know what I love? I love this like peek into everybody's homes. Like we're like
Uh-huh.
getting all these little mini home tours. Like, oh, look at that. I'm like, I'm in my dining room with my teddy bear at my front window. Like that's where I'm sitting. But there's lots of light and I'm seeing all the snow outside. So
How's Milt
and it's gonna
doing?
be, he's good. You know,
Yeah.
they're just trying to figure out how everything rebalances and when you can do what and trying to stay in touch with all the small businesses and encourage them to take advantage of these things and coach them whenever they can. But it's hard. It's like my analogy is it's like we have these 3 lanes of traffic right now. One is going like 100 miles per hour, like when you guys are trying to approve all these loans and all these applications. The other one is like stopped, just waiting for the light to turn green. Like when can we start doing stuff again? And then there's a whole other lane where people are kind of like, what? Like there's something happened? They're just gonna, so you're trying to straddle all 3 lanes and it's a little discombobulating.
Mhm.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah. So
Well,
at
I
our
just-
house, we just play Scrabble or Uno or something like that.
Yeah.
And my children gloat when they beat their parents. So, you know, whatever. What
Well,
about you guys? Everything good at home? Like there's food, there's shelter. We're lucky, right?
Yeah, we can't complain. We're very fortunate. You know, I'd like to talk about the effort that our team has put in for this PPP program. I mean, it has just been phenomenal.
Yeah.
We've had verifiers basically working from 8 a.m. till 10, 11 o'clock at night, trying to verify as many loans as possible to get them submitted and approved to the SBA. Even the night before funding dried up, we had all hands on deck, really pushing to get as many applications in, just because you know we are fortunate in life, and we know there's a lot of people struggling in the community and nationwide, and we're just committed to doing our part. It's almost like wartime, you know.
Yeah.
It's you know we're that first line of or offense of trying to get the much needed funds into the community, and you know we're just doing everything we can to do our part and to help out. And it's just been a really phenomenal effort. It's been really cool.
Well, I really appreciate it. And it's funny you say that. And I think about like when I was at St. Joe Med Center when we built the new hospital. And we've talked more than once about how crazy that was, raising the money, doing the build, moving all the patients, like what that was like and all that new and the tours. And we all worked so hard, but we had this great team and we're bonded in a way, even though none of us really work together anymore. We have this bond of like, we had so much fun while working so hard. And even though it was a hard time, I kind of wonder if this isn't like this reset where like we're reminded that like working hard isn't so bad if you're doing it as a team for the right reasons, right?
Absolutely.
And I think in my mind I keep thinking, okay, so for the Salute to Business next year, we need to have like COVID response awards, like who like really stepped up and got in there and just got it done, right? And what did that look like? And who we're trying to we have like an ongoing like document that we're trying to keep track of every good story that we hear of whatever somebody in the community is doing, whether it's Indiana whiskey and their hand sanitizer or all those different things that are happening. And there's so much good. And that's kind of the reminder that maybe we need right now. Like there are a lot of people really trying to do everything they can do. So yeah, I think I saw did a question come in over here on the chat? I'm looking.
Yeah, I think Tom Erlinson, can you expand on your question a little bit, and then we'll chime in on it.
Okay. So we've already received our funds for our PPP, and of course we didn't take as much money as was available to us because of the limitation on use for payroll for it to be forgiven. We have applied for an EIDL as well, but again, haven't heard anything. We applied on the 30th of March and then applied for the emergency on the 6th of
right away, the same day.
The emergency fund probably about the same day, and just haven't heard anything, and we know they're out of money now too. So our bigger issue here is operational costs than anything else, rather than payroll. So just want to know what other options are out there as we wait and see whether or not the EIDL is going to have any more funding.
So did you hear me talking about savesmallbusiness.com, Tom?
No, I think I was on another site at the time.
Okay, so through the U.S. Chamber of Commerce on savesmallbusiness.com, and I put that in the chat room as well, you can apply for a $5,000 grant. And from what I understand, it's a pretty quick turnaround, very easy to apply. It only takes a couple minutes, and that's free money to small businesses in areas impacted by COVID, which we are. So I would highly recommend you apply for that as soon as possible, because I don't know how much is available in that funding. So I would recommend getting on it as quickly as possible.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Sure, absolutely.
So we should just wait. We should just wait about the EIDL and just try to look at things like that. The small business, savesmallbusiness.com.
So from what I understand, it's a fairly long turnaround for the EIDL loans.
Right.
And you said you haven't received anything back from the SBA regarding that?
Just that they've notified us that they received our application.
Okay. And then for the $10,000 emergency grant, did you receive anything about that?
Just that they've received our application.
Interesting, because that $10,000 grant, from what I understand, that is supposed to be approved and funds to your account within a few days.
That's what we understood, but other than SBA acknowledging that they got our application, we haven't heard anything.
I'm assuming there's probably a bottleneck there with those loans, and if you weren't in at a certain time and that loan processed, there's a good chance that you're just kind of waiting in limbo for the funds to be replenished by the government.
They did that the very first day.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Say that again.
Okay. We filled out the EIDL loan first. And then when we heard about the emergency loan, we filled it out the first day that it became available. So we've got both applications into the SBA right now.
Okay.
We have the long application for the EIDL.
What documents are needed?
And the application for
For your business for unsecured revolving line of credit, you just need to come into any of our locations. You can either do a paper application online, but if you come in here, since you don't have an account, just come in here, fill out the application.
Hey, Amber,
our back office
I think you need to mute your
usually what we do
video.
after that would be your tax returns. That's usually the only thing for a new entity.
Amber?
You've already been in business for more than a year, then at that point we don't require documents. It is only if you are a new entity that we may require additional.
Looks like Amber muted, but James
and for
did.
the most part, it would be your tax returns for the year.
There we go. That's better.
Yeah.
Tom, I don't know. I'm curious, what type of industry are you in?
hospitality.
Okay. Okay. And I'm assuming you have financing on some of that hospitality?
Of course we do. We have an SBA loan through First Source Bank.
So is that a 7A loan?
It is a 7A.
So are you aware of the payment plan coming through the SBA?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so that will help, and that begins now, essentially. Correct,
It
John?
does. As a matter of fact, our bank has notified us that for the next 6 months that the SBA is paying the principal and interest on our business loan.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, we're just looking for other avenues for getting some operating capital until we can actually start generating some revenue of our own.
Right, right. Well, I honestly, based on what I'm hearing from you, you have exhausted about everything possible right now. Unless there's new programs popping up, that's you're covering all your bases right now. Other than, First Source is your existing bank. Are they willing to help fund some of that for a period of time?
They might be.
That's the other option.
I think they've been really good to work with for us.
Sure.
But again, we're just looking for any options to get through the next 60 to 90 days, generating some operating capital, so that when we are able to generate some revenue, that we won't be buried with debt.
Exactly. Understood. Well, the other thing I would throw out is, like you're doing here, be in constant communication. I wouldn't slow down on seeing what your options are with First Source and or any other financial institutions.
Okay.
You can't stick your head in the sand, if you will. You need to be open and honest with all your options, and that's all you can do.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. I see a few more individuals on the line. We'd be glad to take some more questions.
Hi, this is Greg with Gold Star Vending.
Hi, Greg.
Hey, Greg.
Hi. I got into yours late because I was moving from some of these different chats over. I'm interested in obviously looking to do a loan to get through this bridge time, but what ones are you offering? I know you've probably gone through all this. So if this is being recorded, how can I get to this recording so I can look at it so I can make an informed decision on Monday?
John, why don't you walk through a few of our options again, and then we'll have Sonia. I think she's going to send a message out afterwards how to get to the recording, probably in the form of an email.
Thank you.
So Greg, the first thing I was talking about with everybody is a $5,000 grant from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce that's available from the website savesmallbusiness.com. And that's for businesses in affected areas affected by COVID-19, which Indiana is. So that's free $5,000 if you apply there. I'm not sure how much is available in funding, so I would recommend to apply as quickly as possible. And again, that website is savesmallbusiness.com. As far as Centier products, we do have a small business loan special right now. It's got deferred payments, very attractive interest rate. It's for small businesses in low to moderate income tracts. So if your business qualifies for that, I would be happy to chat with you more. I shared my email address on the chat room. So if you have access to that, you can certainly give me an email, send me an email, and I'd be happy to talk through that option. As far as PPP loans, I'm sure you know that that funding has dried up for PPP and EIDL loans. Hopefully, the government can agree to fund that again, so we can get those applications moving for our small business clients.
Okay, so I went back and looked through the chat because I came in late. It's not showing previous chat, so if you wouldn't mind putting your email address out there again, that'd be great.
Sure. So my email address is jwingfie@Centier, CENTIER.com. Has anybody applied for the PPP loan program?
I haven't.
You have not?
I'm not.
Well, if you have any questions about that, I can certainly answer it, and in the event that they open up funding again.
Yeah, how do you apply for the PPP?
So you would go to your existing bank that you use for your business, and
Okay.
And if you like, I can send you the application and the fact sheet on how to apply. But you just let them know that you intend to apply for the PPP program. And what I would recommend, even though funding isn't there right now, I would recommend getting an application in the event that it is funded. At least that way you've got an application ready to go and submitted right away. I would suggest not waiting on getting that in.
Okay.
Okay, I've got another
I'll
question
send
for
my
you.
email.
I'm sorry?
Okay, John, this is Greg with Gold Star again.
Yes.
I've got a question. I went to that save small business.
Uh-huh.
It's showing that the 46530, the Granger, is not eligible for this money.
Well, that's interesting, because all of Indiana is in the affected area. Is that where your business is located, in Granger?
Yes. Yes.
Greg, we're going to have to do some more research on that, and maybe if you could send John an email with that email address, we can respond back and see if we can get you some more detail.
Okay. Look for it in a little bit.
No questions, John. I'm looking into what he just said about Granger, and I'm wondering if it's tied to where chambers operate and where the funding, and if the chambers participated in the fundraising.
Look on our chamber website. Kate sent out a message, and I think they posted something on it today on our chamber's website.
So I was under the impression that it's for any area impacted by COVID, which Indiana is, but unless it's low to moderate income tracts, I'm not sure. It just said economically vulnerable areas in the description on the website.
Amber, for the sake of this group, I'm curious, for those of you on this call who don't know Amber oversees all our branch offices in the Michiana market area. And so she might be getting some feedback. I'm curious how many more requests that our branches are getting for the PPP loan.
It amped back up today. We are getting steady calls and people wanting to put in their application in the queue. So if funding does open up again, they're first in line for a submission.
So that kind of supports our recommendation to get your requests in. If you haven't applied yet, apply as soon as possible. My guess is if Congress does approve another round of funding, it's going to be less than this current round, and it'll go even quicker than this did. So the sooner the better. I will add just one other SBA program that we are relatively heavy in. It's called the SBA 504 program. And these are for transactions that most likely already took place where the government provides 40% of the funding of a project or a building, and the bank provides the rest of the funding, while the customer has only the requirement to fund about 10 to 15% of that project. Just for your own information, the government as well, similar to the 7A program, has agreed to make payments on their portion of the 504 loan for up to 6 months. So that's another way the government and the SBA are trying to help during this really challenging period of time.
Yeah, how much funding is available with that SBA 504 program?
You want to talk to that, John?
I believe it's up to $10 million loans for 504s, or I'm not entirely sure, but it's not a funding limit from the government. A 504 is a typical SBA program that's always available. So it's not just for this stimulus package. It's just another resource from the SBA for the loan.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions from this group?
And 20 million is the cap for a 504 loan. Thank you, Amber.
Ian, could you give us a little information on what your role is again with the city? And
Yeah,
that would be helpful.
yeah, sure. So our division, it's in Department of Community Investment, and it's working with, it's called Engagement and Economic Empowerment. So it's working with both neighborhood associations and with like businesses in low income tracts, quite a few like minority owned businesses specifically, but yeah, so that's the goal of it. So we're trying to connect like businesses in those areas with some of these resources. But yeah, so we're, yeah, but also I don't know if you know Dan Buckenmeyer. He was on this call for a brief instant, but yeah, I think that's a little bit more his area of focus. So we're trying not to overlap too much with him, but yeah.
Is that what Antonius does?
Yeah, Antonius was in our division, but he's in the mayor's office now, which was really sad to see him go. But
yeah, I bet.
Yeah, but he's doing great
Good
work
dude.
there now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So do you partner with, what other organizations do you partner with? I'm thinking of like Heritage, John's on the Heritage Board, and organizations that maybe James Summers helps support.
Yeah, we work a decent amount with CDCs. So like well, like Stacy Odom, technically, like that's a community. It's not a community development corporation, but she does like development on the west side. And yeah, so yeah, we work with some of those. We haven't worked a ton with CDFIs, but we're like interested in maybe reaching out to them. But yeah, mainly our focus has been neighborhood associations, though they don't do as much on the business side. So yeah.
Okay.
But, yeah.
There's an organization in Elkhart that operates almost like a CDFI. It's not. It's called the Gateway Mile Loan Fund.
Okay.
And we participate in that. And it's basically a consortium of financial institutions that have designated funds to help in a specific district in downtown Elkhart for, say, restaurants and other business owners that couldn't typically get a traditional bank loan. This organization will provide funding for that. And so that's what the CDFI role is trying to be in the greater South Bend market area. Elkhart already has that in place and has had it in place for quite some time. But again, it's limited to a specific district in the downtown area. It's something you might want to do some research on.
Yeah. What's the name of it again?
The Gateway Mile Loan Fund. And if you go to the Elkhart Chamber website, they should have some information on it there.
Okay. And you said that it's for businesses that can't typically receive a loan. Like,
it would be a challenge, either because it's a startup or they don't have enough equity going into the purchase of a building. It's really to drive small business to the downtown market area, but they don't meet traditional financing requirements that a bank might have.
Okay. Yeah, that would be helpful. Thanks for pointing me to that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, we've got
Leonardo.
Oh.
Thank you for the information. Michael Patton here. I'm the Director of Diversity and Inclusion for the City of South Bend. So I've been jumping in and out of the sessions just so that I can see who's coming on and the information that's being shared, and as well what's being offered. So good information in your session. You've been helpful to those who have been on as well. Look forward to connecting with you once we get past COVID, or certainly we can do a virtual meeting where we can meet one-on-one and talk further.
We'd be glad to at any time.
Yeah, Michael, I've been anticipating meeting you, and I would like to grab lunch once all this is over and get to know you and let you know what I do at Centier and my commitment to the community and community engagement. So I definitely want to connect with you.
Yeah, look forward to that, John, as well. You guys were talking about Antonio, so he works for me now, as Ian has made mention of, and we're off and running. He's been with me maybe 3 or 4 weeks, whatever it is. And I've been on board probably 70, 75 days or so. So we'll be reaching out to all of you all to make some connections in regards to how we're going to engage our community with the disparity report and as well ordinance that's in place for the city of South Bend.
Sounds great. Appreciate what you're doing.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I just joined very late. I've been jumping from room to room. My name is Melissa Gard. I run a small not-for-profit theater that just moved from downtown South Bend to Mishawaka because we bought a building there. So we don't have any employees. We're all volunteer. So the PPP loans aren't good for us. We've applied for the disaster loans, but haven't had, the response that we got was that they're really prioritizing those according to employees also right now. I'm wondering if there's anything in your little black bag for us that we might look at.
So one thing I've been recommending to everybody is go to savesmallbusiness.com.
Yeah, I did. I looked at that and it says 3 to 10 employees.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Hey folks, I don't want to interrupt your conversation, just popping in with a time warning. We're getting toward the end of our hour here, but as a reminder, all of the recordings and the resource guide will be up on the City of South Bend's website very soon. Would really encourage you check out those recordings if there's any conversation that you weren't able to join. And also that resource guide has contact information both for Len and John, as well as all of the other presenters today. And if you have any follow-up questions at all, I know everybody would be really excited to hear from you and do their best to answer them for you.
Thank you, Sonia.
Thanks, Sonia.
Yeah.
Melissa, I'll just state, I'm Amber with Centier Bank. A lot of boards that I'm sitting on, we're running into the same problem, especially if you don't have the employee that you need to apply for the assistance. It's a time for a call to action to the community and your supporters, reaching out and asking for support in this difficult time. We've seen a lot of giving in Michiana and a lot of call to action and support when it comes to local institutions and local not-for-profits. So I'm not sure what you do in terms of social media or any sort of outreach to your supporters, but now's the time to craft a message and ask for help. There's no shame in that.
We're in the process of shaping that right now. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks you guys for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the group?
Yeah, just one quick question about CDFIs. Do you work with I think it's called CDFI Friendly South Bend. It's, yeah, I guess what Sonia
right
helps with. Yeah.
Well, we've been communicating with her and we're contemplating making a commitment similar to what I talked about earlier about the Gateway Mile Loan Fund, about doing something similar with CDFI Friendly here. We haven't made a final decision yet. We were reviewing it when kind of the world changed. So my guess is when this all gets behind us a little bit more, we're going to resurrect that and relook at it. But that's Sonia's goal, is to try and put something like that, a loan fund, together as part of CDFI friendly.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Sure. Any other questions? Well, I've got 12:01, and I want to thank the remainder of you for sticking on with us, and appreciate the questions. And if there's anything we can do, we'd be glad to help any further. Have a great day.
Bye, everyone. Good luck. Stay safe.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
John, I'm still here. I asked that question about what the best way to get in touch with Centier was. I'm with Brett Gordon's Towing and Repair.
Okay.
Sorry to keep you holding on the line here, but it just send you an email, you say?
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to connect through email and talk about what products we have or loan opportunities we can extend to you.
Okay, we don't have, we're sole proprietorship, or LLC actually, but no employees. So we're finding it harder to get the fundings, but.
Well, so even though you have no employees, you still count as an employee, correct? I mean, how many owners are there?
Right, it's me and my boyfriend is Brett. I help run the office. I don't take a paycheck or anything. So it's just me and him. He has some guys that just do contract work with him.
But you can still apply for a PPP loan, and if there's no payroll, you just base it off of net profit. If that's what he considers his pay, then you can still apply for a PPP. I mean, if they refund it, which I'm assuming they will, you would still qualify to apply for one.
Okay, I guess I didn't know that. I was looking at it said that operating costs could only be 25% of it versus payroll. So.
Correct. So
okay.
yeah, 75% has to be towards payroll. But again, if his pay is the net profit of the business, divide that by 12 and then multiply by 2.5, and then that's what your loan amount would be. And then technically that's going towards paying you to keep the business going.
Gotcha. Okay. And no, we haven't heard yet when those might start back up, right? There's no.
I know that Nancy Pelosi is in talks right now with the Treasury Department to figure out a way to refund it. So I think they realize there's a lot of businesses that didn't get their applications in on time, and it seems like the government is all in right now, committed to getting funding to small businesses and getting the economy rolling again. So I would be surprised if they don't figure something out.
Okay, thanks for that. I'll shoot you an email with our information so we can hook up. Thank you.
Absolutely. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.